Today we have actually pretty clean Foxbody. It's actually kind of weird. It's a Ford with a Ford motor in it, and it has Holley Terminator X. It came in, I specifically asked if it was running, but I've noticed lately that people's definition of running versus my definition of running are a little bit different. So I gotta start rethinking how I ask that question. But it does kind of start, it does kind of run, even though I think it's running about a 3-to-1 air-fuel ratio, and it's probably gonna need spark plugs. My main computer isn't working that I normally do this stuff on, so I just actually had to set up Holley stuff on this one. And so step number one, and probably make half of you guys click off of the video already, but step number one is we're going to unplug the little handheld display. And nobody ever has this cable. I guess they don't know they need it. Yeah, this USB to CAN cable, it won't focus, is what we're going to need in order to connect the laptop to the ECU rather than the little handheld display. The handheld thing is nice once the car's tuned, whether you want to make a quick little adjustment or monitor what's going on, but I don't know, I think I'd rather get nunchucked in the nutsack than actually try to tune a car with that thing. So we're going to unplug it, throw it off to the side, open up this USB to CAN cable, get it communicating with the laptop, and then we'll try and see if we can't make it run a little bit better. Here's the part number for the USB to CAN harness that you pretty much have to buy if you want to tune this thing. It's pretty overpriced for what it is, but I think it's like 50 or 60 bucks or something. So just buy one. There's no other way around it. Just buy it. You can see how it's different from a standard USB cable. It plugs into the little plug that the dash goes into. They also make some splitter cables if you wanted to run this and the dash at the same time. This one's been modified a little bit to work with my dyno. What's that? Current Performance makes it. I think I actually got this from Motion Raceworks, if I remember right. Motion Raceworks is super easy to deal with. And then you place an order, and they send you an email letting you know you placed an order, and then another one that they got the order, another one to remind you that you ordered something, about 6 different ones letting you know that your order's been put in a box, and that box has been set on a table, and then it's been picked up by UPS, and then another one for each step of the way. And all said and done for one $40-50 cable, whatever that thing costs, you end up with 120 emails, but at least you know where it is. So it actually connected the first time I plugged it in, which is nice. Can't say that about AEM with a new computer, but the firmware needs to be updated, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Sometimes the Holley stuff takes a really long time. Alright, firmware is all updated, and this is the calibration that was in it. And this is another reason I don't like the handheld thing. It gets people into trouble. So basically, from here all the way up to this row right here is all vacuum. So then you basically have 4 cells that are positive manifold pressure. So everything else is vacuum. And then where this thing is basically going to idle has got 60% VE in it. It's probably part of why it's so fat. But if you look at the timing graph, the numbers aren't really clear to see, but basically it's got 15 degrees everywhere, 20, 25, 30, 36 degrees for all of this. And then it goes from 24, 20, 17, 13 in the boost column. So like you're just asking for trouble if you actually try and drive your car like this. Here's target air fuel. You can see at 12 pounds of boost, it's still targeting 14.7 air fuel. It doesn't get much better until you get up to about 24 pounds. Figured I'd pull a plug out just to take a peek. This hasn't started in probably 2 weeks, and the plugs are still just have like raw fuel on them. It's kind of crazy. Not sure what's going on with that. Got lucky on this one. There's a handful of issues, but the biggest thing, and the reason it was running so bad, is they had the minimum injector pulse width way too high. Brought that down and then everything started working. But before that I had 50% closed loop correction, and it was still air fuel in the toilet. So I think we might be in better shape than I was expecting on this. Alright, we're in better shape than I thought. I still need to set the timing. The distributor has its own jock strap. That's nice. I can't decide if I want to put this on the dyno first, or just had a supercharged C5 Corvette dropped off. That'll go a little quicker than this. So I got to make that decision. But either way, I need to move a couple of cars around. So let me think for a minute. Alright, the Corvette wins this round. The Mustang hasn't ran in a few years, and this guy just bought this car, so he's going to be a little more excited about this than the other one. So we'll do this real quick. The short story on this one is he just purchased it and basically wants to make sure it's safe. So I'm just going to make a few runs on it and view a couple logs before committing to actually making any changes. And if it needs some changes, we'll make them. And obviously if it doesn't, we won't. So let's see what this one looks like. So the rear wheels were totally just finger tight. So regardless of what this dyno session cost, it's going to be like the best money he ever spent. Fuel map looks like it has a butthole. So this makes me super excited. This never ever happens. This car was sold as making 600 horsepower, and it actually did it. Usually they sell cars, say it makes 600 horsepower, you put it on the dyno and it makes 420. So I'm gonna look through some of the data and stuff and see how things look. Down here at the bottom we have boost. It's a Procharged, so it'll increase with RPM, but basically 12.5 pounds. Let's see, saw the power already. There's torque, typical torque converter car. It spikes up and falls. Looks kind of weird. Air fuel is pretty solid. It's maybe a little leaner than I like to see, but we're just sampling from the tailpipe. It gets a little richer with RPM. So this, even though the numbers are a little high, is definitely richer than that. This damn phone never stops. Alright, so it's definitely a little leaner than I like. And it has a decent amount of knock retard going on too. So just going to throw some fuel at it, see what that does for the knock, and then if that doesn't clear it up, then maybe we'll put a little timing out. So just a few small changes. There's some check engine lights that need to be disabled too. Yeah, just gonna make a few small changes. Most likely lose a couple horsepower, but that doesn't really matter for what we're trying to do here. This computer took a dump again. Gonna buy a new one this weekend. taken about 3 hours to make 3 runs with all the people stopping by and phone calls and computer problems and everything else. So power went down a little bit as expected, and ultimately when I was contacted, the entire objective of doing this was to try and turn the power down. So that perfectly okay with that. So we're basically going backwards on this one. You can see we have a pretty drastic difference in air-fuel ratio. We're much richer now, and then a much smaller difference in power. But again, the 20 horsepower is well worth the reliability on this one. And we still have the original tune, so if for whatever reason he wants to shoot the crank out of it, we can load that one back in there. Alright, Corvette's off the dyno. It's been picked up. Everything's good to go there. I have a Honda that will be here probably in the next 20 or 30 minutes. And this video is probably already pretty long. So I'm going to mix this up a little bit and stop this one here. And then we'll start another video for the rest of the Foxbody Holley stuff. So if there's anything in particular you want to see with the Terminator X or with that Mustang, just comment below and let me know, and I'll try and see if I can't incorporate that into the video. And other than that, just subscribe so you can see the remaining finishing dyno session of that. So that'll do it for now, and I'll see you next time.